TransCelerate's Clinical Research Access Initiative created a vision for the Registry of the Future as a website concept that will provide patients, their family members, healthcare professionals, researchers, and the public with the ability to search for clinical trial information where and when they want. The goal is to improve access to clinical trial opportunities, and we designed the Registry of the Future to inspire government agencies like clinicaltrials.gov to consider improvements which are desired by patients. What we've come to learn and appreciate through this process is that the Registry of the Future will only be as valuable to the audience previously mentioned as the data it contains is informative and useful. Today, registries receive submissions with incomplete data fields, dense jargon, internal inconsistencies, and other issues of data quality. As a result, the National Institute of Health, who maintains clinicaltrials.gov, expressed concerns over data quality to TransCelerate, as this could be a barrier for patients accessing meaningful information on clinicaltrials.gov. This led us to create the Clinical Trial Registration Tool, a tool that individual sponsors can use to proactively evaluate the quality of data for the field, brief title, and brief summary within clinicaltrials.gov. Let's take a closer look at how you may be able to leverage the Clinical Trial Registration Tool. The tool utilizes macros supported by Excel version 2013 and newer. There are 3 visible tabs and 7 hidden tabs. Let's take a look at the Assessment Brief Title tab. Before we start, ensure you click on Enable Editing and Enable Content the first time the tool is run. At the top of the tool is where you copy and paste or type your brief title in the yellow box. On the left, you see elements within Brief Title Assessment, which include manual calculations available to enter after you enter the brief title, automated calculations, which will run after you enter the brief title, criteria that appear with AA apply towards the adherence assessment for brief title, criteria that appear with PFA apply towards the patient focus assessment for brief title. Moving to the right, you will see the section for your brief title adherence assessment, which displays your adherence assessment results once you've run the tool. You will also see the section for your brief title patient focus assessment, which displays your patient focus assessment results once you have run the tool. Finally, you see the Reset button, which will clear all data entered and reset the tool back to its original state. Let's run a brief title assessment now. As an example, I will enter a brief title into the yellow box at the top of the screen and hit Enter. The Excel macros are now processing my input. I will now select a value for each component of the manual assessment. My results are as seen. Now, you will see if I update my brief title and hit Enter, that my assessment output score changes based on the new input. Take a look at the Assessment Brief Summary tab. At the top of the tool is where you copy and paste your brief summary into the yellow box. On the left, you see elements within Brief Summary Assessment, which includes manual calculations, available to enter after you enter the brief summary, automated calculations, which will run after you enter the brief summary, criteria that appear with AA apply towards the adherence assessment for brief summary, criteria that appear with PFA apply towards the patient focus assessment for brief summary. Moving to the right, you see the section for your brief summary adherence assessment, which displays your adherence assessment results once you have run the tool. You will also see the section for your brief summary patient focus assessment, which displays your patient focus assessment results once you have run the tool. The Flesh Readability Ease score rates the text included in your brief summary on a 100-point scale. The higher the score, the easier it is to understand the brief summary. The Flesch Kincaid Reading Age score rates the text included in your brief summary on a U.S. school grade level. For example, a score of 8.0 means that an 8th grader can understand the document. On the right-hand side, you will see a number of metrics related to your brief summary: number of characters, number of words, number of sentences, number of symbols, average sentence length, average number of syllables per word. Finally, you will see the Reset button, which will clear all data entered and reset the tool back to its original state. Let's run a brief summary assessment now. As an example, I will enter this brief summary into the yellow box at the top of the screen and hit Enter. The Excel macros are now processing my input. I will now select a value for each component of the manual assessment. My results are the following based on the brief summary which I included. Now you will see if I update my brief summary and hit Enter and change my manual assessment result, that my assessment output score changes based on the new input.